The Horseshoe is open for business. Welcome back to Ohio Stadium for the first time in the 2023 season. The Ohio State Buckeyes back on this turf behind us. Starting to get a little juicy in here, even for Youngstown State. Not the sexiest matchup that you could ever hope for, but a lot of people already fired up to see Ohio State back in the friendly confines again. That's Jeremy Birmingham. I am Austin Ward. Kickoff coming in about, what do we got, 2.5 hours now?
2.5 hours.
Welcome into the Keys, the live version of the pregame show. What do you think, Berm? Good to be back in here.
Yeah, they've got the pyro getting set up. We saw the smoke. We've heard the noise. You got a little juice happening. It's weird because it's Youngstown State and it's not a game where you expect to have a lot of noise from the crowd. But I mean, it is the first time back here since last November's loss against Michigan. There is going to be a lot of scoring today. The Buckeyes are going to win by a lot of points. That makes people generally happy, and it's a perfect weather day for football, so it feels like football in Columbus, Ohio, and I am here for it.
After all the attention that we paid to the heat and the temperature last week, and I was told by some people down there, not you, I would have expected you to give me this update, but it was 112 degrees they measured at one point on the field last week for Ohio State. That's not fun. Today, this will be better for you and the people that actually matter.
It will not be 112 degrees. There may be 112 points scored by Ohio State, but
boy, you are pushing the envelope here.
I am. That is key number one.
Okay.
Push the envelope. Go out today and make sure Youngstown State realizes that they are not in the same sport as Ohio State. Come out. Do not be nice. Do not feel like you are obligated to give a pat on the back to the in-state, sister program and say, hey, we're here to support you, because you're not. You're not. You're here to beat them, and to beat them silly. They're getting paid a lot of money to be here and accept this beating. So give it to them. Come out firing the ball around the field. Come out with defense flying around like crazy. Blitzes, sack. I want 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then I want the backups in. I said that bold predictions. That wasn't a joke. I think Ohio State should have all the starters out of this game by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, and if there are any that might be iffy on the availability report that will be publicly confirmed at 10, don't take any chances. I expect there would only be one person who might fit the bill for that, and they left the stadium last week with a huge ice bag on their ankle. The fire is
It did
hot.
just get warm in here.
They shouldn't do that while we were down here. That was uncomfortable. So maybe at safety you look like if Josh Proctor, he doesn't need reps. He doesn't need to play in this game. If he's a game time decision, and if anybody in that boat, don't play him against Youngstown State. Don't risk it. Ohio State has seen this before. And I talked throughout the week, like Marvin Harrison Jr., I expect to be full go. That doesn't mean that he needs to play either. There were times in training camp, take it easy on him a little bit physically. He took the big shot last week. I know that there is a part of Ohio State that wants him to be in the mix to make sure he doesn't lose the Blitnikoff, that he could compete for the Heisman Trophy, and that this is a stat game. If you can do it in the first couple drives, great. But otherwise, Ohio State just went through this last year with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Don't push anything today. It's not worth it.
You have an opportunity today with 3 5-star potential wide receiver prospects in the building in Jeremiah Smith, the Ohio State 2024 commitment, 2025 Oregon commitment Dallas Wilson from Tampa Bay, and 2026 potential 5-star Jabari Brady, who's coming up from Florida with Jeremiah Smith. You have an opportunity to show those guys that you can get on the field here early and make some plays. There's it's fun to watch Marvin Harrison. Those guys want to see him. They'll get to watch him warm up. You don't need to see him out here running around against the Penguins. You go out here, you put the young guys out. Keon Grays did not play a week ago. It doesn't feel like
he's already in here now. So.
Yeah, he's already in the building. He's one of a handful of guys, including Cedric Hawkins and Jaden Bonsu, who are in the building early. That generally is a sign that they're being worked on and having some extra physical therapy done. So if Keon Grays can't play today, my bold prediction of 4 freshman wide receiver touchdowns feels pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing for Ohio State, I mentioned go get them, right? But on defense, that means pressure up front. Youngstown State is going to try to have a pro-style offense. It's what they do. They mix it up, they throw it, they run it. But they're not running triple option. They're not doing a bunch of dumb stuff. They run it. What I like about Youngstown State is they're not going to come in here today and try to do something different than what they do. They're going to work on getting better so that they can win the national championship. And unlike Indiana a week ago, who was like, oh, let's just throw out something Ohio State doesn't expect, Youngstown State's going to come out and run their stuff. And so that means Ohio State will have the opportunity to rush the passer. No sacks a week ago. You need like 6 or 7 today, and you need it from all over the place. Arvell Reese, get him out there, let him see what he can do. I think Ohio State just needs to be super aggressive up front. And again, bring it to him. That's all.
I wonder if that aggression that you're talking about up front, if you have to maybe keep that under control in the back end. Like that's where things could get not close, not wonky, not out of balance. But like if Youngstown State's going to score, it would probably come on a bust in the secondary.
Yeah.
So you want to see pressure and aggression up front. I think that's fair. I don't think you have to do it by taking needless chances in the secondary. Just play good, solid football back there, and that can lead. Like you're not playing an elite passing team or an elite passing quarterback. Opportunities will be there without necessarily taking chances. So let that come to you. I think Denzel Burke has done a good job of that with, again, not falling asleep last week and just not letting yourself get in bad situations if those throws come. We saw that a couple times last year. Like that's where the big plays and the explosives pop up. So, just play sound fundamental football in the secondary. Like you're going to have more chances to make a play, and if the aggression comes up front, you don't have to do anything out of the ordinary for Denzel Burke or Jordan Hancock or Davison Igbinosun or all three to maybe get their HOBs.
Well, the challenge is you're going to have a lot of young guys back there. You're going to see a lot of Jermaine Matthews today, I assume. You're going to see more Jair Brown, who did not play a week ago. You're going to see Lorenzo Styles on his birthday out there getting some reps. So you're going to have guys who are wanting to make plays that are willing to take chances when you don't need to. That first group, I don't think they're going to get beat. Now, it is in the secondary, when you might see those guys take chances, and you're right, there's just no reason for it. There is a reason for the quarterback to take chances today, though. So whoever is out there, I want to see them taking shots. No checkdowns, no being conservative.
No checkdowns?
No checkdowns.
So that's part of playing the game.
I want aggression.
You have to. You don't want to create bad. Well, hold on.
If it's the play, go to it. But don't settle for a check down when you have not elite athletes on the outside.
Okay.
So that is the challenge. When Devin Brown is out there today, when he will be, is he going to be able to do those things without being reckless with football? You can be aggressive without being reckless. And that has been, from what we've gleaned from people over the last couple of weeks, sort of the issue with Devin Brown, is that when he gets out there, he is amped, he is juiced up, but that leads to a little bit of recklessness. So let's avoid the reckless, but still leave people breathless, but don't be reckless.
It's not hard to read between the lines about why Ryan Day was rolling with Kyle McCord last week and why he's still the starter this week. It is about protecting the football first and foremost, and this would be live bullets. Like Devin Brown is going to be amped up, and he's going to want to make plays because he wants to get back in and tighten up that battle and make it one, make the decision harder. He'll have chances to do that, and then Kyle McCord just continue to do what he did last week. But also, again, it's the 2 or 3 that they didn't hit on, whether it was his fault, whether it was protection, whether it was Marvin Harrison being out of bounds, or the Big Ten officials screwing Ohio State out of a touchdown that would have made the day look better for everybody. Like, it doesn't matter. Just continue to make improvements from week 1 to week 2. I would say the only part of that I push back slightly on is like, because of protecting the football, sometimes you do need to check it down. Sure. And there were a lot of conversation last week that, Kyle McCord only got through 1 read and then checked it down. Well, Ryan Day talked about that on Tuesday. They did not have the entire offense in with full field progressions and all that. It was 1, 2, and protect the football and move the chains. Kyle McCord did the job that he was asked to do last week, in my opinion, and certainly if he's not being removed as the starter, Ryan Day's opinion as well. So that one means a lot more than mine. But it is still going to be about managing the offense and keeping the football in Ohio State's hands.
Yeah, and that brings my point to its conclusion, which is be aggressive.
You want Ryan Day to be more.
I want Ryan Day to say, guys, we're going to do this.
Okay.
New thing on the keys we're going to try here.
Let's do it.
Players of the game. Let's get a prediction.
It's a bold P.
It's who is going to be Ohio State's offensive player of the game.
Chip Trainum.
Chip Trainum. I say Devin Brown. I think Devin Brown's going to throw for 4 touchdowns, and he will be that guy by default. Defense, player of the game.
Malik Hartford. I think he's in a different boat. Like, I think he will probably get the start today. We'll find out at noon.
We don't know how loud this is because this is what happens when we're in here. We can't tell how loud it is on the TV, on the radio, or the internet.
It's loud for us. I expect and then we'll find out shortly afternoon if Malik Hartford does get the start for Ohio State at safety. If he does, he's also still one of those young guys that you don't just immediately pull after the first quarter. He needs reps, he needs to get going, build some momentum, confidence, get familiar out there, because Josh Proctor is in the 6th year. He has had a bit of an injury history. If you are thinking ahead for 2 weeks from now at Notre Dame, there'd be part of you to say, well, let's make sure Malik Hartford's healthy, but you also have to make sure he's game ready, knows everything that's in the system for Jim Knowles, has some of those scars built up. If he makes a mistake, let him make it against Youngstown State, so that he may be closer to impacting a game of true consequence.
The scars remind us that the past is real.
Oh.
I tear my heart open just to feel. And Youngstown State today will feel Kenyatta Jackson, who will get 3 sacks to be Ohio State's defensive player of the game. He did not get much of an opportunity a week ago because of Indiana's offensive decision. He will get them today. I don't think you should see much of JT Tuimoloau at all today if I was Ohio State. So Kenyatta Jackson, early, often, in the backfield, 3 sacks. Player of the game.
Do you think that these games need to go away?
Yes, and they will, because there becomes fewer repercussions if you lose a game in the early season with the 12-team playoff. But for a team like Youngstown State, you still have a lot of kids on that roster from Ohio. Like, this is a life moment for them. Like, they're going to be 80 years old and telling their grandkids about how the time they played against Ohio State at Ohio Stadium.
But you just said you don't need to do favors to the little sister programs.
Not on the field. Letting them in here is a favor enough.
Okay.
But yeah, eventually these games will go away, and that's unfortunate because it is cool to watch people from around the state who are all Buckeyes fans coming in here. I like to see like the shirts, the split shirts. Like, I'm a Toledo fan, but I'm a Buckeye fan. Like, everyone who is a Toledo fan or is a Youngstown State fan is an Ohio State fan. So these moments are kind of fun.
I saw one on the way in that said Y-O, and then it had a Buckeye leaf on it.
I saw that.
What a weird combo.
Yeah, I didn't know what it meant.
I assumed that it means
Yo,
Youngstown and Ohio.
Oh.
I didn't stop them to ask. Maybe I should have.
I thought it just meant yo, like,
what up?
Yo, we're here.
Well, we are here. And this, do you have anything else?
No, I mean, I'm glad we're back in Ohio Stadium, and I hope people are excited and ready to rock and roll. We got about 2 hours, 25 minutes. There's a lot of random noises happening as they test things at the moment. Again, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but we can hear it, so we're jumpy. And Phil Collins in the air tonight. I think that's it.
I think that means we gotta go, because even if you can't hear it, I can no longer think straight. But the drum solo kicked in at just the right moment to say, hey, this has been the Keys. This has been the live pregame show on the podcast. We appreciate you joining us. We hope you have a fantastic Saturday watching Ohio State's home opener. It comes up at noon. It is against Youngstown State. We will have full coverage post-game with Doug and Bill, Snappy Jays, the notebook, everything else, no matter what happens in here in a couple hours. He's Berm. I'm Austin. We will talk to you later.